So, first I want to start off with why you'd even want to be talking about this, really quick. And I think that we don't think about relationships as health, but we already know, like, we've included social health as a critical pillar of health for a reason. Because how you interact with others says a lot about, one, how you think about yourself and how you interact with yourself.
Talk about it.
But it affects how you live every single day. Like, that's your reality. So if you go to work and you don't like the people you work with, or you don't get along with the people you work with, or if you don't get along with your spouse, or you see them literally every day, you live with them, like, that can create a toxic relationship, which can lead to a whole bunch of unhealthy coping. And so it's really
unhealthy coping. Can you unpack that for a second? I know that was not on the list at all.
It's not.
But can you give examples of what unhealthy coping would look like?
Yeah, so I mean, like, I want to go to the extreme. Unfortunately, that's where my mind goes first. Is like, if you are in a toxic situation at home, a lot of people end up not going home. Maybe they go to a bar or something and they start drinking and then become an alcoholic, and that just creates a toxic environment. So, I mean, that's an extreme example. You can also eating.
Yes. I think is a thing that people
Stress
a lot
eating.
of do without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Stress eating.
Yeah.
Chips, soda, ice cream,
chocolate. I feel like that's the typical, like, sitting in front of the TV with a tub of ice cream that everybody thinks
I've been there.
We all have. It's okay.
So definitely make sure you keep these healthy relationships, not only for the relationship's sake, but for your personal sake as well.
Yeah. So, first love language is words of affirmation. So I'm covering this one just because that's actually my top. So that's what is my top love language, meaning that's what I receive and that's what I give the best in terms of love. And, after taking this quiz, I was thinking about, like, does that make sense? Because sometimes you take quizzes and you're like, that's not right.
I'm not Slytherin.
Yeah. Hey.
What's up? That hit somewhere, huh?
Right here.
Yeah, she took the Harry Potter house quiz and she was Slytherin.
I'm not Slytherin. I don't feel like I'm
The internet says otherwise. Anyway, go ahead.
So, growing up, family was very loving. We all knew that we loved each other, but words of affirmation were not really a thing. Parents they always wanted the best for us, and they definitely wanted better lives for us than they had for themselves. So of course that led to being very hard, very critical. So that's kind of what I grew up around. And unfortunately, that leads itself into, like, being with an optimist. Sometimes it's like I gotta remember that, if I'm being critical, that downs his up, if that makes sense. But I think that's also why words of affirmation mean so much to me now as an adult.
Flip side.
Yeah, because I didn't necessarily get that as much as a child growing up. So that's what I feed on now. Is like, oh, whoa, like, when you're great at giving words of affirmation and giving compliments. Yes. So it's like when you say something nice, like, it really hits me because I'm not used to getting things like that. I'm not used to having people say nice, really nice things to me all the time. So it hits home. It hits a place that feels really good.
Interesting. Okay. Can you give an example of words of affirmation in the workplace, possibly? Because I think words of affirmation in a relationship, in a friendship, seems pretty self-explanatory. Like, oh, I love you. Oh my gosh, your curls are popping today. Ooh, you've been working on your butt. All that kind of stuff. Words of affirmation that some people, I know you, will appreciate. But when you're in the workplace, what are some examples of, like, appropriate words of affirmation that either you give to your employees or that you would want from a supervisor?
Honestly, like, some of the best words of affirmation I can remember getting are people who came up to me after speaking, even if it was just, like, in a meeting or in a little like small conference or something like that, and we're just like, you just have a way with words when you speak. Like, I just listen, and you just, you're so eloquent and all that stuff, and it was something where I felt like I got off the podium or whatever, and I was like, it's cool. Yeah. So to hear somebody that I resonated so much with someone else, I don't know, really, really touched me. And it was something that, like, I don't even know if I really deserved it, but it was good. It felt good. And then just knowing that you're appreciated, like, just saying thank you. like means a lot, because I feel like, you know, at work everybody expects you to show up and do your work, but I feel like because that's the expectation, you don't always get the like, you know what, I really appreciate that you went above and beyond and did, you know, such and such and such and such, and actually listing what you did as acknowledgement that, you know, they noticed that you did those things. So that's really nice to hear every now and then.
I think it's important to note that, because especially for us, we're trying to build a business, we're trying to build a brand. So not only as a, you know, relationship partner, but as a business partner, I need to do a good job at saying, oh, you know, thank you for posting on the Truvel Forever and Nuggets of the Day. Thank you for setting up the video IG for the live stuff, because that's still your love language, whether it's in a relationship or it's in our business stuff. And I think we need to keep that same thing in mind when we start hiring other people someday, is making sure that we give those words of affirmation, because we know that's your personal language. So that is the first one, words of affirmation. Use them wisely. Try to build your relationships, whether they're personal, work, friendships, family, friends, using words of affirmation if that is your language. And now let's move on to the next one. All right, so the next one was my top love language, and it is acts of service. So this is doing stuff like taking out the trash, this is cooking, this is helping me with the task, this is setting up the Instagram live, like things that really help me out, save me time, or things for me that kind of translate towards love. And I think the Queen did a really great job accidentally giving you words of affirmation.
I told you he's good at it.
But the Queen did a really good job at kind of rooting her love language in your childhood, and I want to try to do the same thing. So I feel like for myself growing up, I was left to do a lot of things on my own. My dad worked a full-time job, mom worked a full-time job, so it was like when I was doing stuff, I was at the house, I was cleaning the kitchen, sometimes I would cook. So I feel like acts of service to me mean a lot, because growing up, my parents did a lot, they provided for me, they did that good stuff, but I felt like growing up, I was doing some stuff for myself. Or during holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, it was my job to clean the kitchen after the holidays.
Bless your heart.
Like, by myself.
Bless your heart.
And it's like, like all y'all ate the food, but I'm the only one cleaning. My grandma used to help out. Shout out to Gina Strickland and my grandma. But long story short, I feel like now that I'm older, those people doing acts of service for me means so much more. So like, I know it's my job personally to clean the kitchen in our relationship, because the Queen can throw down in the kitchen, but there are occasions where like I'm just exhausted, and she will, without asking or without me asking her, she'll just get up and clean the kitchen after she had already cooked. So when I'm sitting there tired, I'm just like, is she cleaning? She loves me. So it's like going the extra mile, going out of your way to do something that I know you don't like doing, that you usually don't have time to do, but you see that I'm tired, so you'll do it anyway for that day. So I appreciate that. In work, it can be the same way. Like, unfortunately, like outside of entrepreneurship, inside of what I do for a full-time living, I do a lot of work by myself. I'm going to a lot of events by myself. I'm setting up by myself. I'm talking to students by myself. So when co-workers are like, oh, hey, Devon, I'll come out on a Sunday and help you with that event, I'm like, oh, thank you. Or, hey, Devon, I'll work check-in for you, or I'll do this, and that for you. Even in the co-working space still means a lot, because I'm so used to doing things by myself. Do you have anything you want to kind of sprinkle on that for acts of service, Queen?
No, I actually thought when I was taking the quiz, I was thinking like, okay, I was pretty sure that words of affirmation was going to be number one, but number two, I was like, ooh, it's going to either be acts of service or quality time. And I feel like the reason that's also big for me, and probably why it's big for you, is just because we're very ambitious. So we have a lot of things we're trying to do all the time. So just helping you being able to do those things means a lot, because I feel like it low-key, I mean, we already know that we believe in each other, but that's just an action.
Wow. Thanks for watching. We appreciate that. But what you really should do is click that subscribe button, smash that like button. You know, you like us, right? You like her, right? Hey, we're cool. Subscribe. Appreciate you.